Hello Tamers, Regina or Jigglypuff here, and welcome to Sting Like a BeeMon. This is a deck profile for the Royal Base Trait Digimon deck. So this deck did get some support in BT23, but more importantly it got very good support in EX11, and it's been a very fun deck to sort of upgrade and test out. So as always, thank you so much for checking the video out, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So we're going to start off with the eggs. We're only actually going to be running one egg. This is going to be the BT18 Puroromon. So it has the inherit of start of your main phase. By placing one Digimon card with a royal base trait from your hand face down as the bottom security card, you add the top security card to your hand. I find that I really like this one over the newest egg, which is whenever cards added, you draw a card. The reason I prefer the BT18 Puroromon is I think that it's a very good, consistent way of getting your security face up, which is very important to the deck. You could run as a one of the new Puroromon, or you could do a split based off your preference of play. I've just found that with my personal preference, I really want to guarantee the start of main phase triggers and making sure that I can sculpt my hand in the way that I would like for later on. So it's also so cute. I forgot how cute the BeeMon line is. It's adorable. We are going to move on to our level 3s. So we're going to start off with 4 of the Funbeemon from BT19. This one has a couple of things going for it. So the most important thing is on your turn, when it would evolve into a Digimon card with a royal base trait, you reduce the evolution cost by 1. So this is our cost reducer rookie, and it's very nice to be able to get into our 4s for virtually for free, because you will always have at least one memory. The other thing is the way that this deck works is because of the way that security is placed face up. You'll have that little pink version of security in there, which means while it's face up inside of your security, all of your royal base trait Digimon get plus 1000 DP, and this is an all turns effect. Now, it does have a 1 cost evolution for 2 on the back, but because it's evolving on top of a royal base trait, you can evolve it for 0. That has become less and less relevant, I think, as Digimon goes on more and more, but it's a very good anthem effect for your Digimon, and it's also a good cost reducer. We're going to move on to 4 of the Funbeemon from BT23. So this is actually phase version. So you'll notice between the way that they work, if they have CS trait, it's from the Fei version, who is the character that has the TigerVespamon in Hacker's memory. Hacker Slumber is the Digimon set. And then if it just has the regular Liberated trait, it's Winr's Digimon partner, who's QueenBeemon in the novel of Digimon Liberator. So the 4 of Funbeemon from BT23 is going to have an on-play effect. You reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you add 1 card with royal base in its text, and 1 card with the CS trait among them to the hand. So a majority of the cards that you're going to see in here are also going to have CS in their trait, so we can guarantee at least 2 pickups. There are obviously going to be a lot of times where this card will miss, but we're going to try to minimize that as much as possible. It also evolves on top of the Protomon for a cost of 0, and it also has the same security effect as the other Funbeemon, which is a plus 1k into your security. And the last of our rookies is going to be the Funbeemon from EX11, and this one has a start of main phase trigger, so this one is going to be adding the top face down security card to your hand. Then you can place a royal base trait Digimon card from your hand face up as the bottom security card. So all of these BeeMons are going to have the plus 1000 DP, and this Funbeemon from EX11 actually gives your royal base trait Digimon reboot, so you can swing, they will restand on your opponent's unsuspend phase. So it was a little bit different than the other Funbeemons. I know that this kind of overlaps with the Protomon that we are running, but my personal opinion is that it's better to be able to sculpt your hand semi-consistently, and you can at least pick and choose from your hand what you want your entire royal base army to have as a sort of buff to their traits, either through DP, through reboot, or through blocker, and things like that. So this is all of the rookies that you're running. I think the most important rookie, in my personal opinion, in this is actually going to be your Searcher Funbeemon. Searchers are just very, very good in decks, right? We're going to move on to our level 4s. First off, our first level 4 is going to be the BT19 ForgeBeemon. This is going to be a 2 of in the deck. Its security effect while it's face up is all of your royal base trait Digimon will also get plus 1000 DP. And then all turns when any of your other Digimon with the royal base trait would leave the battle area by effects, you can place this Digimon face up as the bottom security cards to make sure it doesn't leave. So it does specify other, so you do have to be very careful about that. So if the ForgeBeemon is the one leaving, it cannot protect itself. If there's another ForgeBeemon, then they can protect each other. So I like this one just because it's a nice extra layer of protection for your Digimon. It's nice that they're focusing on other, so it doesn't just be able to protect itself. And on the other plus side, you can at least give yourself an extra 1000 DP if you do have to use this Digimon to protect another one of your Digimon on the field. But it is a 2-of just because that alternates effect isn't quite as necessary. We're going to try to mitigate that as much as possible with this. We're going to move on to the 4 of Waspmon from BT23. This one's security effect is all of your royal-based trait Digimon also get plus 1000 DP. This one is going to be the CS trait one, so this is again based off of Fei's evolution line for her partner Digimon. This one has a 1 Digivolving effect. If you have 1 or fewer Tamers, you may play 1 Tamer card with royal base in its text from your hand without paying the cost. The reason this card is so good is because it says royal base in the text, so you can play either Fei or Winr based off of it because they both have royal base in the text. So it might be a CS based Digimon, however it focuses on both of the Tamers for this deck. So it's really nice to be able to have it in your hand and be able to play either or Tamer from your hand should you have them both to play from. And again, it's just really neat to have. Then our last of is the 4 of the ForgeBeemon from EX11. This one also has the same security effect as the Funbeemon, which is all of your row-based trait Digimon will gain reboot. This is actually kind of important, is that they are on your opponent's turn, which is wild. But on play when Digivolving, add your top face-down security card to your hand. Then you can place a royal-based trait Digimon card from your hand face-up as the bottom security card. We now have 3 cards that are letting us sculpt our hand and our security. It's very fun to be able to do this because your opponent starts having to do math and figuring out what is going on with all of your security effects. And I think being able to consistently pick and choose from your hand and deciding what goes into security or what stays is really nice. And I think it's a fantastic way to just make sure that you are getting the cards that you want in your security, and the cards that you want in your hand. I forgot to mention this when we were talking about the Puroromons, but when you do take that security card and replace it, it does trigger effects on your opponent's turn that say when a card is removed from security, because you are removing security cards. So if you're playing consistently into Medusamons, be very careful because it will trigger Striako once all of your effects have resolved, and it will also trigger the Lamiamons if further inherit. So keep that in mind and pay very close attention to when you are choosing to remove cards from your own security and replace them. That is a kind of a big deal when you're playing these matchups. Moving on to our 5s. We're running a 4 of the CannonBeemon from BT23. So on your opponent's turn, all of your Digimon with the royal-based trait gain blocker. When you pair that with reboot and a good amount of Anthem effects that are pumping up your Digimon's DP, you can usually swing pretty freely into your opponent's security at a larger number for your DP, then not have to worry because you'll have reboot and you'll have access to blocker. So all turns for this CannonBeemon, when this Digimon would leave the battle area other than by your effects, you flip your top face-up security face down and it doesn't leave. That's specifically for that Digimon. However, it's inherent when any of your royal-based Digimon would leave the battle area other than by your effects. You can flip your top face-up security card face down to make sure that that Digimon doesn't leave. It is a once per turn effect, so please keep that in mind. But the difference is on the actual card of itself, the CannonBeemon protects only itself by flipping the top face-up card face down, but its inherent protects any of your royal-based trait Digimon if they would leave that way. And that is also true for the Vespamon from EX11. So this EX11 Vespamon has the same security effect as the CannonBeemon, which is all of your royal-based traits gain blocker. On play when Digivolving, though, it is a bit of a stun. So for each of your face-up security cards, you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, then one of their Digimon or Tamers can't unsuspend until their turn ends. And then its inherent is the same as the CannonBeemon. When any of your royal-based trait would leave the battle area other than by your effect, you flip your top face-up security card face down so that one of those Digimon doesn't leave. I know that the other Vespamon, the one that has the Digivolve, is also pretty good. My personal opinion on that one is I think it's neat if you are trying to use TigerVespamon Ace as your top end Digimon on here, because you can at least, or any version of TigerVespamon, I guess, because the deletion effect means you get to trash something from its inherit. I like the Digivolve in the deck. I think I would rather prioritize the protection over Digivolve right now. There's also a lot of things lately that are running around that are protecting you from Digivolve. I'm still firmly on the fact that Digivolve is the best mechanic in the game, and it does matter how many cards face up that you have between both of these Vespamons. So it is a little bit... It's a little rough sometimes, because if your opponent chews through your security really fast, then you won't be able to stun anything, or you won't be able to like Digivolve something. So I think, in my personal opinion, I would prioritize having the stun over the Digivolve in that moment, just again because there seems to be a lot more effects floating around in Digimon that protect you from de-Digivolve. But it is a personal preference, so if you prefer the other Vespamon, go for it. I think the inherit here is what edges out the Vespamon from EX11 just a little bit. So that's it for our 5s though, because now we're gone to the level 6s. This is a 4 of in the deck. It is the QueenBeemon from EX11. This particular art is only available as a box topper if you buy the EX11 boxes. It is one of the potential box toppers you can get. All of the novel All of the novel Liberator characters are the only ones that have the box topper, and like that's how you get their alt arts. She's fantastic. I really, really love this QueenBeemon. On play, when digivolving, when attacking her top half of this, you may place one royal base trait card from your hand or trash face up as the top or bottom security card, and then you delete up to 8 play cost total worth of your opponent's Digimon. Then for each face up a security card, you add 2 to the effect's play cost maximum. And then it has a when digivolving, when attacking as well. You may play 1 card with royal base in its text from your hand. For each of your face-up security cards, you reduce this effect's paid play cost by 1. So, couple of things here. Very specifically for this QueenBeemon, because it says royal trait card, you can recycle options that have the royal base trait. And you can recycle and basically anything from your hand or trash that you can decide that says, hey, it says royal base in that little bottom right corner. Absolutely, you can go ahead and use it. The second half of it, the when digivolving, when attacking, to play something, as a reminder, you can play cards. So you play Digimon cards, you play Tamer cards, but you use options. So you cannot use the options off of that second effect. But it is a very nice way to say, hey, even though you hit this in security, I'm going to bring it back into my security stack. And it's going to be face up. You can choose where you want to put this. So if you are recycling security bombs or option cards, you can choose to have it as that first deck. This is also very dependent on which deck you are playing against, because a lot of the times decks can either be immune to either option cards in your security, or they are going to be immune to just effects in general. So it is a matter of what you're playing against, but having the choice of top or bottom for your security is very neat. And then the neat part about this too is that when digivolving, when attacking, you can play a royal base from your hand. Royal base in its text. So you can also play Tamers off of that. And it's been really neat and pretty fun. So I think this QueenBeemon actually kind of just edges out the old QueenBeemon just a little bit. I still like the old Queen Bee. I just think that this one feels a little bit more aggressive in a lot of ways. It is a lot of text, so please take the time to reread it. And then I guess for some of you, if you prefer to test out your hands on your own and do that, get comfortable with it, because it is a lot of effects all at once, but you can choose how you want to sort of order those. But the last of the 6s here are going to be 2 of the TigerVespamon Ace from BT23. So as you can see, our boss monsters in this deck have their respective Tamers on the art with them. You have Winr with Queen Bee, and you have Fei with TigerVespa Ace. TigerVespa, I guess. Now, TigerVespa Ace, if you're unfamiliar with it, is a very fun card to play against. It does have a counter timing because it is an ace card. You can also hard play it for a play cost of 8, which means you can also play it off of the QueenBeemon, depending on how much security that you have. You can play this for free sometimes, depending on how your matches go. When I was playtesting this the other day, this TigerVespamon cost me 1 from my hand. It was insane. So on play, when digivolving, you can place 1 royal base or Zaxxon trait Digimon card from your hand or trash, face up as the bottom security card. Then you return one of your opponent's Digimon with as much or less DP as this particular Digimon to the hand. So usually, barring anything that your opponent has done, it's going to be at minimum 12k DP that you're going to return to their hand, right? Then alterns when this Digimon suspends by flipping your top face-up security card face down, one of your Digimon unsuspends. So the way that this is worded, the game checks to see where the next face-up security is. So if you have enough security face-up, you can swing multiple times with the TigerVespamon. It's very funny. This is the biggest reason why I think the inherit for the Vespamon is very important here, because on the off chance that you would leave or die to something in security with the TigerVespa Ace, you can just place you can just turn the next security card face down to prevent it from leaving. So there is a lot of different weird shenanigans in here. The way that cards are worded for the Bees deck is also very important about where you're putting the face-up cards. 90% of the time, they will be at the bottom of your security, and you will take the top face-down security card. So TigerVespamon is mostly your finisher. It is only at a 2 in the deck because I personally think that You can choose to run as like your like end game like Digimon in here. I just think the QueenBeemon is a little bit funnier. If I had to, I would probably go as a 3-3 split, 3 QueenBeemon, 3 TigerVespas. But again, that is a personal playstyle. So we're gonna go on to our options. We're gonna run 3 Hornet Erasers. Hornet Eraser has the Royal Base trait, which means you can recycle it with the QueenBeemon and put it back in your security as many times as you want. So long as they don't bottom deck your option card to the bottom of your deck, right? The main effect for this one is you may place 1 Digimon card with a Royal Base trait from your trash face up as the bottom security card, and then you delete up to 8 play costs worth of your opponent's Digimon. For each of your face up security, you add 2 to the effect's play cost maximum. So at minimum, it'll be 10k that you, 10 play costs that you will delete, unless there's something like Congo on the field that says you can't add to your security. But the reason this is really funny is because you can just kind of keep looping it into your security stack, and it is a very weird version of a like recovery, because if they hit into it, you at least add something else into your security stack, so it kind of replaces itself in that sense. It is pretty high cost, and 90% of the time you kind of want it in your security stack. I will also say, for what it does, the cost makes sense, because having played this deck or tested this deck, the amount of face-up security cards you have is actually wild and kind of insane. So it seems like a lot. It feels less so later on, I promise that. And then we're also running 2 of the Royal Base. This is a promo card, so this is promo 181. You could either get this from event packs that happened this past season for Digimon, or you can get them at tournament packs if you played at your locals. I'm sure somebody out there has them. This is a 2-cost option, so the main effect first is actually you add your top security card to your hand, and then you place this card face up as your bottom security card. So it was part of the introduction of cards that we had for it, like with the Nightmare Soldier stuff. It has 2 security effects. So the first security, while it's face up, when any of your Digimon would digivolve into a Digimon card with a Royal Base trait, you reduce the evolution cost by 1. This is mandatory. So the minute you Evo, if you have multiples of these, all of them will be used up in that instance. So it is a little tricky with the cost reducer if you're not careful, but essentially if you have this in the cost reducer Funbeemon, then you have a free Evo to a level 4 without ever having to use something like a training. Its security effect is you play a level 5 or lower Digimon card with a Royal Base trait from your hand without paying the cost. This one's kind of fun because if you have the Vespamon that stun stuff, you can just play it for free, and now you have an ace target that people have to worry about. I like this one as a 2 of, just because it's neat to have the cost reduction and to potentially play stuff from your hand. However, when you're sculpting your hand so much, you do have to be a little bit careful with it. I also just like it because if they don't have a memory setter set up, it's a very good way to be able to memory choke your opponent as well. So it is also nice just to be able to grab your top security, and it just says top security card. It doesn't say face up security. So if you're realizing in your hand, oh, I'm missing a piece and I kind of need to grab it from security, you can just play this one. It'll be totally fine. So, and then our next couple of options include 2 of the unique emblem. This is called Honeycomb Commander. This is promo number 230. This is also the box topper for EX11. The nice thing about the box toppers for EX11 Dawn of Liberator is that whichever unique emblem you get the alternate art for that Digimon. It would have been insane if they didn't do it that way. So this is Winr's unique emblem, and it's a 2-cost option. So you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, then you add 1 card with Royal Base in its text, and one Liberator trait card. I'm so used to just having Digimon cards among them to the hand. Then you return the rest of the bottom of the deck, and then you place it in the battle area. Its delay is when any of your Winrs are played. One of your Digimon may digivolve into a level 6 or lower Liberator trait card in the hand with the cost reduced by 3. This is very, very important to note because it says Liberator trait. You cannot evolve into the TigerVespa ace in this, or any of the TigerVespas at all, I think, because the TigerVespas are not Liberator trait. They are CS trait for the ace. I'd have to double check the old TigerVespa, but it does specify Liberator trait. So you can use this to go into the Queen Bee, and you can use it to go to the majority of all of the Funbeemon's line for Winr's specific evolution line, but you cannot use it to go into Fei's evolution line. So please keep that in mind. It is very trait specific. I like this. I am realizing that specifically for Winr and Bees, I find that the emblem matters a little bit less. This is probably one of the first cards that I will cut down to 1 of in the deck if I have to. The search is really nice. I find that the aggression of the deck doesn't really require the emblems as much as some other Liberator decks might need. So it's neat. I love it. I think the emblems are really fun, and I do think that being able to evolve up the chain as well and having a search and potentially picking up 2 cards is also very good. So the last of the options we are running here are 2 X Antibody Proto forms. This was originally found in EX5. It has had multiple reprints, and I think it's gotten a confirmed reprint for 8001, which is our reprint set. If you don't have access to X Antibody Proto forms, totally don't blame you. They are somehow notoriously difficult to find still. You can also use just regular X Antibody, because they will both sort of have the same effect in terms of reducing evolution costs in some ways. However, I prefer Protoform just because you get that effect almost immediately, and you can just tuck it in, and it helps you recover your security stack and grab back pieces from a specific stack of a Digimon that might like get deleted. Again, if you cannot find X Antibody Proto forms, you can absolutely use just regular X Antibodies. They are both pretty good in their own sense. So, the really fun part is that a lot of the B stuff is all X Antibody trait. Who would have thought? So it actually performs really well in the deck. The only downside to this Proto form and to X Antibody in the deck, you cannot search it. That's it. That's like the only thing about it. And then we are going to finish off with our Tamers. So we're going to run 2 of the Winr from EX11. This is a 5-cost Tamer, folks. I know it's a lot, but it is a memory setter. So start of your turn, if you have 3 or less memory, you set it to 3. And then on play, you add your top face-down security card to your hand, and then you can place a royal trait Digimon from your hand face-up to the bottom security card. Has an end-of-turn effect as well. By suspending this Tamer, one of your royal-based trait Digimon gains collision and piercing for the turn, and then it can attack. If you play your cards right, you can play this Winr for free off of the QueenBeemon. You can also play it for free off of the ForgeBeemon from BT23 because it does have royal base in its text. So it's really nice that we have a memory center on this one. The other Winr is still pretty good. I just think that this one's slightly better overall just because, again, it's a memory setter. The collision and piercing don't matter quite as much. However, the piercing could be very good based off of how much anthem effects you have on your Digimon, and I'm 90% sure almost all of the inherits are just all turns plus 1000 DP, so a good chunk of the time your bees are going to be swinging for very large amounts of DP. The last Tamer in here is going to be a 3 of the Fei from BT23. She is a start of main phase. If you have a Digimon with a royal base or CS trait in play, you gain a memory. As long as you are able to promote, you will usually get that memory 90% of the time. All turns, when cards are placed face up in your security stack, if any of them have the Zaxxon or royal base trait, you can suspend this Tamer to gain a memory, and then if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, you draw one. Fei can stack. The really fun part about this is that it's an all turns effect. So if you are able to somehow put cards into your security all turns, you can steal the turn sometimes. I really love this Fei. I was not a huge believer of her until semi-recently. I loved her in the games. Oh my god, no. I mean in terms of the card game. And then it just became an extra draw engine on here. And so for me, I think that's why I was okay giving up the Puroromon from EX11, is because I think Fei is just pretty decent on her own. I know that the Proto is a guaranteed draw. I think Fei is just also really nice to have. So, again, I'm very big on being able to sculpt my hand for this one, and I find that there's some of the older B stuff when it was first introduced that don't feel like they fit quite as much in here anymore. Again, it is a personal playstyle and a personal preference, so if you find that you like to use the old B stuff, go for it. It's your deck. Like, this deck list is just to help give you guys an outline or a guideline of like what I think you could play. Everyone plays very differently, you know, and this is just a way to start stuff off. Or if you like agree, disagree, it's totally fine. Again, Digimon is just the type of game that you want to play, and for me, this is how I have felt. I'm not sold on a bunch of the older B stuff anymore. If you can fit a Final Zubon Punch in here somehow still, absolutely go for it. That card is funny as heck in this deck. But there is the deck list for you folks. It is unfortunately terrible quality for some reason, but I will have the deck list posted down in the description below. And this deck was really fun. I posted one of the matches that I had on Twitter, and it was just really insane to see because Bees is funny. Honestly, I think Dawn of Liberty was one of my favorite sets to come out in like semi-recent Digimon history, just because I love Liberator so much, and I think it's really neat to see a lot of these decks get the spotlight. But as always, thank you guys so much for checking this out. Leave me any questions, comments, concerns. If I got something wrong on rulings, let me know. Oh wait, I did forget one other thing on this one. On Winr, it says on play, add your top face security card to the hand. Then you may place one royal base trait Digimon card from your hand face up as the bottom security card. If you have 0 security, you can still add a royal base trait Digimon from your hand face up. It's not a by doing this. You just add the top card. You cannot add the top card if there's no security on there, and then you just place something here. It's really fun. Winr is like pseudo recovery, guys. So anyway, I think that's everything. But thanks again for checking it out, and have a fun time playing Digimon, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye bye.